on and they want to see their own shout out. There we go. So we are recording if you want to make a shout out. Nobody?
I wanted to shout out Linnea. I've been watching her posts and they have been so vulnerable lately. And today when she was doing her story, she was talking about being in a funk yesterday and how she allowed the funk to stop her from getting her workout in. But today she was starting all over. And it was good for me, especially. I've been kind of in a funk as well. And so I was like, all right, fine. Yep, you're right. I need to go get my workout in.
I want to shout out everyone that went to Super Weekend, Super Saturday, and especially to the girls that traveled down to North Carolina. That was really fun and really special. I just think that events like that are really cool and important. Not mandatory, but I had a really good day yesterday with everybody, and I didn't get to go to lunch with everybody because I'd promised my kids a movie night, but I think that it's just nice to be together sometimes. And even if it's someone that you didn't get to, isn't on your team, just to meet them and chat with them and network that way. Oh, Snowden. Okay. So I'm going to go to speaker view, and I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys, if you have not been on a call where you get Tough Love Lindsay, you're about to get Tough Love Lindsay. And Tough Love Lindsay, Lindsay's like, bye. It's just, I'm just going to be really honest and really forward, but know that all of it's coming from a place of love. None of this ever would come from me trying to guilt you into doing something that you don't want to do, or to, tell you that this is my expectation or this is what you have to do in order to be on our team. That's not the way it is. This is your business, so you do you. But if you have goals, there are some things that we've done so far at the end of 2018, leading into 2019, that have kind of helped you to establish what your goals are. And so I've had my mind working a little bit here, because if most of you probably at least thought about what you want to accomplish in 2019. Hopefully you did more than that. Hopefully you actually wrote it down. Hopefully you started thinking about what you're doing. If you recall, before Christmas, Sarah and I hosted a team call where we had created this worksheet, and we actually stopped the call and worked through the worksheet together. If you weren't on the call, I posted the recording and the worksheet in the team page. If you haven't done this yet, my question is why? This is not hard. It's thoughtful, and it might take you 10 to 15 minutes to do. Maybe a little longer if you're really struggling with what you want. This entire worksheet was modeled off of what Melanie Mitro has been talking about on her podcast. I just listened to the third part of the podcast on my way to Erica's house yesterday. And it was so enlightening to hear that this is something she does every year. This is something that the top coach of the company, as of January or December 31st, has been doing every year, and look at where it's taken her. And so we say things like, we want to be elite, or we want to be premier, or we want to be making enough money to stay home, or we want to be, making $200 a month so we can put it away and save for Disney, or we want to be doing whatever it is, whatever your goal is. Maybe you just want, to help people. Maybe you just want to stay on your own journey. Maybe your goal is to make enough to pay your groceries every month. Whatever your goal is, where is it? Where do you see it every day? What are you doing with it, I guess, is the question that I'm trying to get at. And so I'm asking that because even if you did this is great. This is awesome. This means you really thought about it. You really dove deep. You kind of dug in, not just about what you want to do, but why you want to do it. And then maybe even went a little bit further and reflected on what you did last year, how that can help you this year, what you didn't do so well last year, how you're going to grow from that this year. But if that's all you did was write it on a piece of paper and then that's it, then all you did was fill out a worksheet. And if you're a teacher, you know that worksheets are crap. You know, it's not about being able to complete a worksheet. It's about being able to do something with the content that's on the worksheet. And it's the same with our goals. So yes, it's wonderful that you wrote it down on a piece of paper, and it is wonderful that you have thought about it and maybe dissected it or unpacked it, whatever the word is that you want to use. But if that's all you've done, my question is, why is it January 13th and that's where you're at? Because you should have been there before Christmas. Last week, our team call was a vision board call. We spent an hour together creating our vision boards, and the attendance on the call was surprisingly low. I was really shocked that a lot more people weren't on there. And I'm going to be honest. If I had not planned that for us, if I had not planned that call for us, then my poster board and my stuff that I bought to put on my poster board would probably still be sitting on the floor of my office, and the magazines would probably be piled on top of it, and nothing would have been cut out of them or anything. So that's why I knew if I was in that situation and I've got huge goals for 2019, then I needed to plan something where all of us could sit down together and do it together. Because if I was going to do that, chances are 70% of our team was going to do that. So that's why I did that. And then nobody really, I mean, I'm not going to say nobody showed up, because the people that showed up rocked it and had really great vision boards, and then even took it a step further to something that I hadn't thought about, but they started talking about where we should put our vision boards. And so it got me thinking, like, what about everybody that wasn't on the call? Did you make a vision board? Do you have things written down? It doesn't have to be some fancy thing. Mine's not. If you could see mine, it's a big piece of poster board with a lot of pictures on it and a lot of blank space still, because I didn't know what else to put on it yet. The blank space I can add to it as the year goes on. A lot of it I printed offline. One of it is just a picture of my kids in there. I didn't draw anything because I'm not good at that. It doesn't have to be that way. And where I put it was right in front of my face. So while I'm doing my workout every morning, I'm looking at that. My TV's right above it. Actually, my TV's above it, and then it's right here. And then over here is my Transform 20 calendar. I just put it up today. Because I need those things in my face. We need to know how success feels to us. If you don't have that feeling attached to your goals, it doesn't matter if you write them on a worksheet. It doesn't matter if you do the Start Today journal every single day for the entire year for 2019. If there's no emotion attached to what you're writing in that notebook, if when you look at it, it doesn't scream at you or make your belly rumble or, you know, just like get you excited about what you're about to do, then you didn't do something right. If you don't have a vision board in front of your face, do you have Post-its around your house? Do you have a Post-it on your refrigerator saying, I am in the best shape of my life, to remind you every time you open that door what you're reaching for, what you're working for? I probably need it on the box of ice cream cones in my freezer. I need a Post-it note right there so I stop digging into the ice cream cones. Do you have another plan, I guess, is what I'm asking. Because guys, I want what's best for you. I want what you want for yourself. And so if you say you want to make something of this business, or you say that you want to change 2 lives every month all year long, or you say you want to make enough so that you can have $1,000 in savings by summer, then I want to help you do that. But I can't come to your house and do the business building activities that help you do that. And so you need to have a very clear idea of what your goals are. But the problem is you can have a clear idea and then do nothing with them. And that's been me. I'm going to admit it. The reason why I thought to talk about this on this call is because in the past, I have said, I want to be elite. And then I've kind of sat back and thought, oh, I'll just do my invites when I have time. And if I don't get to them today, I'll double up tomorrow. And then I don't double up tomorrow. And then I say, well, I'll just do a lot this weekend. And then I don't feel like doing jack this weekend. So it's just like it snowballs. And so I was listening to Melanie Mitro's podcast yesterday, and she said something that resonated with me. And it's going to be something that I implement in my own business. And it's also something I've decided I'm going to implement in my personal life as far as my health and fitness journey. And so I wanted to run this by you, because if you're someone who has your goals written down and you're someone who has a really pretty vision board, maybe you're really artistic and yours is like glitter and pizzazz and just amazing. Maybe it has a monogram on it. I don't know. But if you're one of those people that has that in front of you, but you're also one of those people who in the past has done that and then done nothing with it, then maybe you need to make this rule or implement this discipline, is what I would like to call it, actually, instead of a rule, is no matter what, before you get in bed at night, the business building activities have to be done for your business. And so what Melanie said was, maybe today she gets a phone call and her son is sick and she has to pick him up from school. And so everything that was on her to-do list gets put to the side, because she ends up taking him to the doctor and then going to the pharmacy to get medication. And then when he gets home, she's doing laundry because he got sick, or, all this stuff happens. And so life takes over, and she's a mom, so she lets that happen. But she also knows she has these goals. And so she remembers she has them because they're in her face on her vision board every single day. She sees them. And so she knows, even if it's 9:30 at night and that's what time she likes to go to bed, she's going to have to stay up and get the things done that need to be done before she allows herself to go to bed. Even if she's tired, even if she's cranky, even if she knows she's going to be up in the middle of the night with her sick child, she does it anyway. And it's just a discipline. And so I thought about that. I was like, wow, I need to make a list of like 3 things or 4 things that have to happen every day. And then if I'm ready to go to bed at night and those things haven't happened, I need to stay up for an extra 10 minutes or 20 minutes or however long it takes me and get them done. And so I'm going to implement that discipline in my business, and then I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm implementing it in my personal life as well. Y'all know I've been struggling. That struggle has kind of snowballed and come into my nutrition. It's come into my fitness. It's come into my mental emotional state. It's just like a lot of struggle. And so what I'm doing, since Transform 20 is 20 minutes, I'm not allowing myself to sleep in any later than I have been. I'm going to still set my alarm for 4:50. And I'm no longer allowing myself to hit snooze, because I have hit snooze an embarrassing amount of times in the last 6 weeks. There are days where I've hit snooze so many times that I'm rolling out of bed at 6 a.m. and I've been hitting snooze since 5 o'clock. So I have a rule: no more snooze. Like in our challenge group, we said, what's your one thing that you're going to give up for the 31 days of January? And at first I was like, I'm going to give up candy. And then I failed at that pretty quickly. And so I started thinking, like, I'm going to follow Transform 20 to a T. So I'm not going to have candy anyway. So what am I going to do then? I'm going to give up snooze. That's what I'm giving up. Like, I think we tend to very quickly go toward, I'm going to give up soda, or I'm going to give up, cigarettes, or I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to give up that. But how about thinking about the one thing that might be holding you back from reaching your goals? Yeah, maybe candy is holding you back from reaching your physical fitness goal. And maybe that is the top goal on your list. But maybe it's not. Maybe you've got another goal on your list. So then you have, like, candy. Yeah, that would be a great thing to tell people you gave up, right? Or like I thought about doing chocolate, but I was like, no, I don't want to give up chocolate Shakeology. That'd be crazy. And then I didn't want to start making exceptions, because if I make an exception for Shakeology, well, then I can make an exception for like a chocolate Cliff Bar or something, like it just can really quickly become a slippery slope. So you need to think about, like, what are some of the other things that I could give up? Maybe I could give up on Fridays there's a brewery in our town, and I don't go every Friday. I go maybe once a month with some coworkers, and I sit there for like 2 hours and just hang out with them until I go get the kids. Maybe I could give that up and instead go to a coffee shop and pull out my laptop and get some work done. You know, like think about your goals and think about what you're going to give up in order to hit those goals. It's not all about what we're going to do. Sometimes it's about what we're not going to do. And so the theme around this call is, hopefully y'all have goals. Hopefully you have written them down. Hopefully you've got a vision board. But how many of you, I mean, show of hands, be honest, how many of you have done absolutely nothing with them so far this year? All you've done with them is what we've done together. Like, you have your worksheet and you have your vision board. It's okay to admit it. It's totally okay. Because last year at this time, I was the same way. And I will tell you, if you don't have a Start Today journal from Rachel Hollis, then I would encourage you, get a notebook, something even like this. It could be a legal pad. It doesn't have to be anything special. And start writing. Think about this. Really think about this. What are 10 things, 10 dreams that you want to speak into fruition in your life? So mine's out in the dining room right now because I'm going to put it in my backpack to take to school with me tomorrow. But one of my things is I have a budget. One of my things is I'm a published author. One of them is I am a loving, patient, present mom. One of them is I am I'm in a healthy relationship. One of them is I'm a homeowner. So things like that. Now I'm saying them and I'm writing them as though I already am them, but I'm not. Well, I mean, technically I'm a homeowner, but you know what I'm saying when I say I'm a homeowner. I don't have a budget. I just go and do whatever the freak I want, which is a terrible plan, especially now that I'm going to be on my own. So those are things that I'm working on. And so writing them down every day one day I was like, God, why am I writing the same thing over and over? This is nuts. But today was day 13 of doing it. And you know what I've realized? I'm starting to feel more confident about them. In fact, yesterday, this morning, my notebook was open on the island because I was starting to write down a couple things that I was grateful for this morning. And my husband came over and saw my notebook open. And he just kind of stood there and I was like, what? And he said, oh, I'm just looking at your book. And for a minute there, I was like, no, not your business. And that's my book, and didn't want him to see it because, I mean, you guys know my situation. And then on top of that, it's really like, that's your book, you know? But then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if he sees what I've written down. I don't care if he doesn't believe that I can do those things. They're written down because I'm going to do them. Maybe they won't happen in 2019, but they're going to happen. Some of them are a lot closer than I thought they would be at this point. And so I just let him look. I was like, let him see that I'm going to be a homeowner. Let him see that I'm going to be in a healthy relationship. And guys, me 6 months ago wouldn't have done that. I would have run over and hidden them and been a little bit embarrassed that I'd even thought to write something like that down in my notebook. And so the reason I'm sharing that is because writing them every day, the 10 things every day, the same things, if you guys don't have the notebook, it's the same things every day, has really like started to build up my confidence, like making me realize I'm going to do this. I'm going to do these things. Like I might tweak them and change them a little bit along the way as like what I want changes, but I'm going to do this. And so I was like, whatever. I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest, I was more like, F him. I don't care if he sees them. Like, let him see them and let him see what I'm going to do. But then it also has forced me sort of. So not only do I believe in myself more, but it's also sort of forced me into actually doing something with them, because here I am writing the same darn thing, 10 things every single day. And it's like, if I've got nothing to show for this at the end of 2019, that's on me. Like, if I'm going to do this every day and then at the end of 2019 be like, not a single one out of 10 got done, then that's a problem. And so I've actually, like, when I wrote down I wanted to run a Disney half marathon this year, I was like, I'm not running a half marathon this year. Like, everything in my mind is telling me, don't even sign up. You're crazy. Your body will die, because I've done them before. My body dies, but I want to do it. And then the other part of me is like, why are you doing a Disney one? Why do you have to drive 8 hours to get there? Why are you going to spend $1,000 to do this? Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to do this? And I'm like, because I've never done it before. Like, I'm just doing it. So I knew if I put that on there, and if I told people I was gonna do this, that I would actually have to do it, because if not, at the end of 2019, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I wrote that down every day, but yeah, it didn't happen. That'd be embarrassing, and I would feel defeated at the end of the year. So I've already started talking to a planner. Have I paid for anything? Have I registered for anything? No, not yet. But the ball's rolling, you see. And you guys know me. I'm an introvert, but I've already, like, I've put it out on the team page. Anybody want to come? I've contacted a couple of my close friends, like, let's do this. Let's make this a girls' trip. If you know me, I would be much more comfortable going by myself. But I love my friends, so why not make this a friend thing? Another thing, buying a house. So I knew that I couldn't really technically make an offer on anything until Friday of last week. But I got a real estate agent, and I started looking, and I started going out to houses and seeing what I liked and what I didn't like and what I wanted and what I don't want. And I'm going to be honest with you, it scares the crap out of me. And one of my friends at work keeps saying to me, why don't you just get an apartment for a little while? Why don't you just do that? You want to know why? Because I know what I'll do. I'll get an apartment, and I'll live there, and I'll be happy, because there'll be a little gym, and there'll be a pool, and there'll be all these people around me, so I don't have to feel alone. And then there will be no lawn to mow, and, all this stuff. And then I'll never buy a house. I'll never do it. I'll just stay happy in this little space that I don't want for my family. So that's why I'm not doing that. That's why I'm out doing what I've got to do. I've started working with a life coach. I have no idea how to make a budget. No idea. I know that's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to even say it, but I don't. I've never been a numbers person, so I've never sat down and said, like, this is what I make, and this is what I put on my car, and this is what I do in my house, and this is, like, I've never had to do that. I've always just known what was in my account and worked around it. Even when I lived by myself, I would live paycheck to paycheck and just know I only have $25 in my account, so no spending until payday. Like, I just lived that way. I was an idiot. But so now she's helping me. She's like created this spreadsheet. So I'm sharing this because I'm writing down 10 things every day. And some of them, like the healthy relationship one, I think I actually need to change it and say I'm in a healthy relationship with myself. And then as the year evolves and as I heal, I guess, or go through the grieving process, then I can change it to I'm in a healthy relationship, not just a healthy relationship with myself. But like, that's okay. Like, there are things I can do, like doing my 12 things, actually sticking to my goals. How much better am I going to feel about myself by writing my goal down and then actually doing it at the end of the year than if I wrote my goal down and had nothing to show for it at the end of the year? If your goal is to save $5,000 this year, how amazing would it feel if you had $1,200 in your savings account at the end of the year? No, it's not 5,000, but it's 1,200 more than you had. What if you hit 5,000? What if you surpass 5,000? So just writing your goal down can be defeating if you don't actually do something toward it. And sometimes it's a baby step. Like, yeah, a budget might seem really silly to a lot of people because you've always had one and you've just always done it. And I'm over here, like, I didn't have to hire the life coach because she's new and she's doing it pro bono, but like, I'm over here working with a life coach to figure out how to make a budget. Like, that's crazy, but it's what I have to do to make it happen. So I'm doing it. You've got to look at your goals and you've got to figure out what you're going to start working on first. If you looked at my Start Today notebook journal right now, you would see my 10 things. And then at the bottom, she has you write what you're going to do first. I write every day, I have a budget. I may end up buying a house before my budget is concrete, but really priority to me is getting the budget, because I know that I cannot own my own house and have no budget. That would be extremely stupid of me to do. So I would encourage you, if you don't have that Start Today journal, to implement some type of strategy like that. Take the worksheet we've done. If you haven't done the worksheet, guys, please do the worksheet. Oh my gosh, it was so good for me. It was so good to write down and reflect and then get things out that I want to accomplish. Then start writing it down every single day. So just writing it on that worksheet and then putting that worksheet in your planner and then never looking at it again or dropping it. The worksheet it's definitely in the Google Drive in the goal setting section. It may be in our files. If it's not, I'll add it there tonight. Oh, Jen found it. Awesome. Thank you, Jen. Mary Blake, Jen found it and she's gonna, yeah, there you go. So if you've done that, that's great. I would encourage you, if you have a bulletin board in front of your desk, pin that up there. Mine sits right next to my computer. So every day when I sit down at my computer, I see it. My vision board is in front of my face while I'm working out the whole time, so I know what I'm working for. All of my goals have an emotional attachment to them. Like when we did the worksheet, one of the things I wrote down was get out on my own and buy a house. That's a very emotional thing for me. It's not just about owning a house. It's not just about a certain income. I need the income in order to buy the house, but buying the house is the emotional attachment. Get in the best shape of my life. My body has been like through hell for the last 3 or 4 months. And so I owe it to my body to take care of it now. So I'm going all in with Transform 20. The other one I wrote down was my 12 new things. Well, one of my 12 new things is running that Disney half marathon. So you see what I'm saying here? Like, these are things at the end of the day. Yeah, everyone wants to lose weight. Everyone wants to have more money. Everyone wants to, do something cool in 2019 so they can post about it on social media. But all of these things have some emotional attachment for me. One of the new things I want to do, I shared this last week, I think, is get a tattoo. I've never had one before. So, but now, like I've always said, I don't want one because I don't know what I want. Like, I'm not going to walk in and go through a binder and be like, oh, I like that, so I'll get that. Instead, now I know exactly what I want. I know where I want it and I know why I want it. So that has significance to me. That's going to be one of my things. And that's emotional. The significance of the tattoo is emotional to me. So again, just do something. Even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's giving up snooze. Like, seriously, I'm giving up snooze so that every morning I can do my affirmations, because I'm going to do those 10 things. I'm going to do them. And you need to feel the same way. It might seem silly for a little bit, but here I am, day 13, and I'm a believer. I'm like all in on the affirmations. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, if there's any resources I can give you. If you have not listened to Melanie Mitro's goal setting podcasts, she has a part 1, a part 2, and a part 3. They're all wonderful. Part 1 is very similar to what we did with our worksheet. Part 3 was very much like, this is what you do after you've set your goals. Like, you just get in the trenches and roll with it. And one of the things that I had told you we were going to do this year was have the pods to really kind of take our success partners to another level, and to also implement some more leadership. Yes, I will share a picture of a blank page from the Start Today journal. It's very duplicatable, so you could easily just get a notebook and do it. But the pods are up in the team page. I apologize for not getting them sooner. I was killing myself trying to find that post. Thank you, Linnea, for tagging me in it. But the pods are up. If you already work with someone who's in your pod, let me know as soon as possible, and I'll move people around. And then I'll be going live sometime this week, probably Wednesday, to tell you what your first assignment is with your pod. I will say this: start thinking about your word. So we all mostly already picked a word for 2019. Start thinking about your word and maybe share your word with the people in your pod. Get some communication going with the people in your pod, either on Facebook or exchange phone numbers, and start kind of brainstorming a word that could represent your pod. Because instead of it being pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, I'd like it to be a word, like pod 1 and then your word. So just be thinking about that. And then I'll go live Wednesday afternoon and share some more on that. If there's no questions, I know I went a little bit over 9 o'clock tonight, so I'll let you guys go.